Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, the Nootropic Reviewer, and in this video you're going to learn about nootropics that will help you to have Adderall-like levels of productivity. And really what that means is having an increased level of energy throughout the day and having an ability to concentrate that you wouldn't typically have. Because when you're on Adderall, what that feels like is having an incredible ability to focus and to be able to task switch without getting fatigued. See, typically when we're working, what happens is as we work throughout the day, we get fatigued and our concentration does diminish. But with Adderall, you're able to just work a lot longer and you have far lesser of a need to take breaks just to get some mental clarity. And I've used some ADHD meds like Concerta or Vyvanse, and what I had noticed was that I was able to get a lot more done, but they came about with really bad side effects such as decreased hunger, such as insomnia, and of course anxiety, and then of course that horrible crash that comes along with it. The first alternative, which is somewhat comparable in that you only need to take it once a day, is phenylpiracetam. Phenylpiracetam you can look at as a stimulant that would stimulate you throughout the whole course of the day, but it doesn't feel like Adderall in the way that Adderall kind of depersonalizes you. You're not the same person, whereas with phenylpiracetam, you're still the same person, you just kind of still feel your emotions, but what's so is you have an increased level of energy and that will allow you to be more productive. Phenylpiracetam does also make you more motivated, kind of similar to Adderall would. I've been using phenylpiracetam on and off for many years now, and I really like that I personally don't feel any crash from taking it. Now, other users, like as shown in this Reddit experience here, they do feel slight withdrawals once they get off of phenylpiracetam, but I've even gone like almost 2 weeks straight taking phenylpiracetam and then I've gotten off of it and I didn't feel any sort of withdrawals. So what happens is you will take it first thing in the morning, similar to how you would with Adderall. You'll notice the increased energy level after 1 to 2 hours, and it will last throughout the whole course of the day. And what that feels like is having a far lesser of a need to take breaks and more physical energy in the sense of like you just want to be standing versus sitting down. One problem is, although you have this energy, sometimes with phenylpiracetam it's a little bit inconsistent. I don't actually have as much focus as I would like to, and that's because of the fact that I'm just so stimulated that unless I actually have like a list of specific tasks that I need to execute, I just won't know what to do. Fortunately though, I do look at it like a much safer alternative, though it may not be as strong and as effective as Adderall is, it definitely does still work. And the way that I'm taking it is taking 80 to 100 milligrams of phenylpiracetam once sometime early in the morning, and I actually feel it better when I ingest it sublingually. So what that means is taking it under the tongue. So if you have it in a capsule, then you can just consider opening up the capsule, leave it under your tongue for about 30 seconds. Don't do this first thing in the morning, wait at least 30 minutes, because when you wake up first thing, you actually get this natural cortisol spike that you don't want to suppress by using stimulants. And if you do that, you should feel really good effects. And the warning with this is that if you do take it in the afternoon, there's a good chance that it will still keep you up at night. The second nootropic that you may want to consider, not that it's an Adderall alternative, but that it will help you with your productivity for a lot of people, would be Tongkat Alley. And the reason for this is because it boosts testosterone levels. So I would say that this is a supplement to consider if you have any thoughts that maybe you are low on testosterone levels. Tongkat Alley has really been a game changer for me since I've been using it. I've been waking up more aggressive, more energetic. I definitely feel better in the gym. And why that matters is because with increased testosterone, we're actually able to get away with a little bit less sleep, and we have a better tolerance to stress. So when things happen during the day, we can overcome them a lot faster. We can have a short-term memory and just bounce back. Because I've had low testosterone in the past, and I've been on TRT, and I noticed that when I was low on testosterone, it also really did affect my concentration, my thinking, my verbal fluency wasn't good, just everything seemed a bit slower, so definitely get that fixed. So this is a nootropic supplement to consider in conjunction with some of the other ones that I'm mentioning on this video. A typical dosage of Tongkat Alley would be 200 milligrams taken once a day. I've talked about it more in this video over here. Side effects would include nausea, would include lightheadedness, and if that is the case, then you can easily rectify that by having your Tongkat Alley along with the meal, preferably your biggest meal of the day. The third nootropic to consider would be taking caffeine and L-theanine, and what this does is caffeine will help to boost your energy levels, and L-theanine is an amino acid that when combined with caffeine can help to reduce the negative side effects of caffeine and also help with increased concentrations. Because typically when we use caffeine, we feel those jitters, we don't really feel like ourselves, we may feel a bit more motivated, but it comes with a cost in our productivity because we're not able to really be ourselves. Now, the issue with this is that the fact that caffeine and L-theanine really doesn't last that long. It's really only going to last for about 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. Maybe at that time, you'll still have a little bit of energy, but what makes Adderall is the fact that you use it once during the day and then you get the benefit throughout the whole course of the day, even longer. So what that means is you can consider taking caffeine and L-theanine 2, even 3 times a day. I don't really think that's an unhealthy practice because you're typically going to find caffeine and L-theanine in a serving size of 100 milligrams of caffeine with 200 milligrams of L-theanine. And based on most of the data out there, it seems like taking under 400 milligrams of caffeine is what is considered safe. So I think if you take 3 servings of this throughout the whole course of the day and spreading them out, it kind of feels somewhat similar to Adderall, because with caffeine, that's really going to give you that euphoric feeling, that feeling of confidence and courage that you can get, which is kind of like Adderall, of course, to a lesser degree. And L-theanine has a lot of antioxidant and health benefits. Though what I don't like about L-theanine is that it's pretty inconsistent. There's sometimes when I ingest it, I feel a little bit of fatigue. Maybe that's because L-theanine does actually lower your blood pressure. So be careful with this one. Just know how you respond to it. The 4th supplement to consider to have Adderall-like productivity is Modafinil. Modafinil reduces extreme sleepiness due to narcolepsy and other sleep disorders. It's often used for shift work disorder, and I actually really like it. Compared to typical ADHD meds, they make you feel stimulated. With Modafinil, I wouldn't really describe it as make you stimulated. It's more like it helps you to stay awake. You kind of feel like yourself. You don't feel overly energetic, but you have this incredible ability to like task switch throughout the day. You have a better level of concentration. You definitely feel more motivated, though it does come about with a little bit of anxiety. And something which makes me a little bit more comfortable ingesting Modafinil versus something like Adderall is that it doesn't blunt my appetite as much as Adderall would. Modafinil doesn't really make you feel any more smarter. It may not make you feel more confident, but it will make you aggressive. It will make you have more energy. And I love the fact that it does improve my mood. Like you find that like your baseline mood with Modafinil, it's a little bit higher. It is inconsistent though. There are some times when I ingest Modafinil and I feel way too much anxiety that I would have wished that I never ingested it. And the way that I'm taking it is very similar to phenylparastime. Is like I'm taking it about 1 to 2 hours after waking up. I'm taking a dosage of about 100 milligrams. Of course, I don't recommend it. Talk to your general practitioner first, but I do feel a bit more comfortable using Modafinil over something like Adderall. And one of the reasons for that is because there have been periods of time when I have used Modafinil every day for a couple of weeks, and I got off of Modafinil not feeling any withdrawals and still feeling like myself. I wouldn't use Modafinil for all kinds of work because Modafinil, it just makes you faster. So it'll make you a faster reader, it'll make you a faster talker, it'll make you process information faster, which makes it ideal for learning. But when you're in conversations, you don't really want to be faster. You want to be able to actually connect with somebody and build a deep level of rapport. And this is very difficult, especially if you're new to Modafinil. It took me a couple of years of using it here and there for me to really understand how to use it ideally and what adjustments I would have to make socially when I was on Modafinil. The most common side effects with using something like Modafinil are headaches as well as insomnia. It will keep you up at night if you take it in the afternoon, so for that reason I pretty much avoid taking Modafinil after 2 p.m. One way to eliminate or reduce some of the side effects that come about with Modafinil is consider ingesting it along with alpha-GPC. I've talked about alpha-GPC more in this video here, but even if I wasn't using Modafinil, I would still be using alpha-GPC because we all need choline, choline being a very important nutrient for brain function. It's typically found in egg yolks, but when we consume it through egg yolks, the problem is 2/3 of the choline content is actually lost during the cooking process. So if you consume it through alpha-GPC, you should most likely notice a better executive function, better thinking, planning, and learning skills. And the 5th nootropic to consider to have Adderall-like energy levels, it's not actually a nootropic, but it's a nootropic blend, because one nootropic is likely not going to give you what you want and help you to have that increased energy level and increased level of productivity. One of my personal favorites is Quality of Mind, just because of the fact like it has all these ingredients jam-packed into one product. You can see the product label contains really important nootropics for fatigue, for concentration, like rhodiola rosea, like Bacopa mineri. They also have L-tyrosine in there, as well as L-theanine and taurine. So what they've done is they've looked at all the nootropics out there that could perhaps help you with productivity and help you with energy levels, and they've combined it into this one product, because unfortunately with most nootropics, they're pretty light. Even the ones that work like caffeine or L-theanine, they're kind of short lasting. Whereas if you take a good nootropic blend like this, you should feel the effects for 4, even maybe 6 hours. And something I really like about the Quality of Mind is the fact that they have different forms of choline there. We can see we have alpha-GPC, plus they also have acetylcholine. They have a little bit of caffeine, and then they have a whole lot of vitamin B to help you with that energy, and then they have ingredients like mecunopurians. If you have been taking Adderall for a considerable amount of time and have gotten off of it, you are probably experiencing some withdrawals. So the good thing about these nootropics that I've highlighted, they are really appropriate to take during that period when you're having the withdrawals, when you have low energy, when you can't really think clearly, or just everything's slower. But if you want to learn more about nootropics, you can consider using during the time when you're experiencing withdrawals from some of these ADHD meds. I would highly recommend you watch this video right over here. And if you did get value from this video, consider subscribing. Of course, drop a like. And if you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can do so over on Patreon or send me a direct message on Instagram. And be sure to visit our Discord server, which has a 24/7 chat room. We're answering questions in a time-sensitive fashion and having a whole lot of fun. I thank you for your interest in nootropics, and I look forward to seeing you next time.